Okay, so that little weird noise or whatever, I don't know what's going on with my audio right now. Anytime I try and record, it's making that noise, and I've done like a couple tests to try and fix it, and it won't go away. I don't know what it is. Basically, I want to talk to you about what I call what if circles. What's a what if circle? A what if circle is that little loop you're stuck in when you're trying to make a decision. These aren't little decisions. These are bigger decisions like career choices, what you want to do for the next 6 months, if you want to go and buy a new house, all those micro decisions, the pro cons list. The what if circle is that, where you're on one side, it's good, it's other side, it's not, and it's just a loop and a loop until you break the loop and it becomes one circle of I don't want to do this or I do want to do this. Um, so the circle, it's more like a loop like this, and then it slowly one side is like, oh, I'm gonna go away, and it just makes one circle. The more you start leaning towards a side, and the best way to break out of those what if circles is to literally just talk to somebody and get their opinion, like your good friend, um, or like just go on a rant and say, hey, here's this, blah, blah, blah. This is why I want to do something, why I don't want to do something. And then by explaining all that, you'll realize what you really want to do. Um, and so this was a problem for me today because my mom got me a job offer, and I immediately hopped on and was like, oh yeah, I'm down because it pays better than my current job. I've been looking for a second job anyways, but I also want something to fit in with my current job so that it's part-time and full-time, so I can balance it out and not have scheduling conflicts, but also something that pays better than my other job. And so I immediately hopped on it because it was like, oh, it'll be probably part-time, it'll be paying better than what you're making now. And so I saw those two things and I immediately jumped on. And those are good things that like I would have wanted to work with. Um, and I was super appreciative that my mom got me the opportunity to go in for the interview because she knew the person and they were looking for help. But because I jumped on that immediately, I didn't think of all the cons and anything else I'd be doing that I'd have a problem with. So I went into the interview. The interview process was not the greatest. I will probably make a second video after I shave and shower, just because that's what I'm about to go do after this. But after I shave and shower, I'll come back and make another video about how this interview process went versus what an interview process should look like. Because I know there's tons of people who go in for jobs for the first time and they have no idea what to expect. And like they can talk to their parents, but I have a really good example of a poor interview process. Just to just to talk about why this is also a problem. So going for the interview process wasn't great. Um, Not super in detail about what I'm going to be doing, just tidbits, and I had some information from my mom about what I was going to be doing. But then my mom made it seem like I already knew mostly what I was going to be doing. She's like, oh, you have the construction experience to go in and be successful at this job immediately. And then I get there and I'm told I'm going to need to learn to do three other things right off the bat. And I'm going to need training for it. Plus, I need extra training for the materials in their shop. So I was like, okay, this is a lot more than I was expecting. I'm coming in as a newbie, not somebody who actually kind of knows what they're doing. Um, and so that threw me off a little as well. Um, and so when I got home, I didn't really even think about it. I had the next 3 days where I had work lined up for me at my first job, and so I was like, oh well, I'll just do that, and then go in, see how it goes, and then if I don't like it the first couple days, I'll leave. And as I got closer and closer to today, I was like, I'm already working a lot over here. I still want a second job, but it's like, okay, I just worked 11, it's like a 6 hour shift, 11 hour shift, 10 hour shift, right in a row. And then I was gonna go do another 10 hour shift today. And so I was like, that's gonna be the rest of the summer. Is this what I want? And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that, but this is also more labor intensive, and I am about to hop on and do a bunch of training. And it's just, it didn't feel like that's what I wanted to do. Like when I woke up, there wasn't like, hey, let's go do this because I'm excited for it and I'm interested in it. It was more like, fuck, I have to go and do this. So that's when the what if cycle broke for me, is when I started talking to my best friend about it and saying, hey, here are some of the problems I had with this process so far, and I haven't even started the job. And I got to the point where I was just focusing on the negative, which is probably a bad thing, but there was all these things that I was like, okay, here's where I have problems or questions already, and here's the 2 things that I do want out of a job that is part-time and pays more than what I'm already making. And so I was like, that's not enough for me to make me want to go do it when there's all these other things. And I still have to even have a conversation with this guy about, hey, I don't feel like this is the job for me for these reasons. And it's nothing about the job in particular that I don't want to do it. It's nothing about him in general that makes me not want to do it. It's just all of it together. It's just not for me. And I didn't know that before I walked in to have an interview, and I didn't know that even after I walked out. It wasn't until I was sitting up at 2 in the morning telling my best friend, oh, I don't want this job for these reasons, to make me realize, shit, I don't want this job. As stupid as that sounds. Sometimes breaking the cycle happens at random ass times. And so that's just a little example of a what if circle. I'm gonna go do some stuff, and then, well, while this is posting, and then I will make another video of what an interview should look like versus the interview process I just went through. Just to show you how part of the insight, I guess, as to why this probably wouldn't be a good fit for me as a person. I'll explain that more in that video. And I know this is a little weird talking about like my job preferences in a video that I'm putting out, but honestly, I feel like this is something everybody should do. I feel like everyone should do vlogging because this was not in one take. I didn't do this in one take. It took me multiple tries to figure out what I wanted to say, plus I had audio problems that I didn't realize till the second take. And so I think doing vlogging opens you up and makes you look into yourself a little bit more than you would otherwise. And I think talking about personal situations that maybe shouldn't be public necessarily makes things, if you put it out to the public, it makes it easier for you to understand the situation and for other people to understand the situation. Um, so that's I think that's like the biggest upside to vlogging that nobody realizes. Um, and not a lot of people do it. A lot of people think it's stupid because people make up random ass titles and like, I almost got killed by my coworker, like, and it's like some fake story. Um, but like real genuine blogging like this, I think is really beneficial. And now I'm just ranting about something that's not even related to the what if circles, but that happens sometimes. So I'm gonna go do my own thing real quick. I'll post this, be back, and do the other video. Have a good day, everyone. Peace out.